Got one. There he is, boys and girls. Shaky head so far has gotten one fish. Yeah, I turned the camera on too. Halfway through the fight, I was afraid that I didn't turn the camera on. Come here, little buddy. I just got done filming literally a 20-minute long video trying to put a drop shot versus shaky head challenge together, and didn't even get a single bite through this whole pond. Come over here, third cast with a shaky head, and I catch this little dude. Nice little fish. Pretty cool. And I turned the camera on. I'm very proud of myself for that because normally I don't. And there she goes. Alrighty, wow. I am honestly shocked because I fished for over 20 minutes, because it was 20 minutes. The video that I had going was 20 minutes long, and I ended it about 10 minutes ago. So we've been fishing out here for about 30 minutes, trying to get a fish on camera, doing a shaky head versus drop shot kind of challenge deal. And finally actually got one to commit. Awesome. Good deal. So, you guys can probably hear that. If you can't, you're probably deaf. But there is actually now a pump in the pond. That way the water doesn't turn over, because that is something that we do not want to happen here in our pond. We don't want the water to turn over, because that would be a bad thing to happen. So, since we caught one on the shaky head, let's see if I can possibly catch one on the drop shot. I'm using a 4-inch Zoom meathead worm. If you guys don't know what that is, it's basically made for drop shotting. But I usually, if I use it at all, I usually use it on a small jig head as a shaky head. And as you guys seen right there, it actually does work. Now my cousin and my uncle that I usually fish with, they usually use them. Basically, they take them and weightless Texas rig them and cast them out and let them fall very slowly. And they usually catch some pretty decent fish, as far as I've heard anyway. I might have actually just gotten a bite right there by that bush. Now there is a fairly good chance of me catching a bluegill on this setup, because it is a very small finesse worm. And that could very easily happen. Cast it over here. So don't worry, you guys, I do know where all the ropes and cords and all that stuff for this thing is, because I helped put it in. So I know where everything... I have a fish? What in the world? Oh, well, whatever it was, it came off. I don't think it was a fish because it didn't move. But I know where all the ropes are. Basically, where the only ropes are is right there, the cord, and then straight out where those waves are, there is a rope tied to a cinder block. So, I shouldn't have any worries or nothing of getting stuck in it or anything. If I do, then it's my own stupid fault. So yeah. So basically all I did right there was I cast it out, straight out along here. You guys may or may not see that stump right there. That stump was where that fish was at. There's actually some bass fry right here swimming around. I didn't notice that until now. Oop. Oh, I got another one. What in the world? Is this a bluegill? Yeah, it is. Holy cow. Look at there, you guys. Big old bluegill. He was biting it hard. Like he was really mean, aggressive. Looky there. Multi-species video on a little bitty finesse worm. See, I told you. I was just sitting here telling you guys that there is a possibility of us catching a bluegill, because look at the worm. The worm is a little bit over half his size, but he still tried to eat it. Gave me a good little fight. I was actually very confused if it was a bass or not. He was aggressive on it too. Very, very cool. I am happy now. Caught a bass on camera and caught Mr. Bluegill. Huh. Interesting. Look at all these bass fry. Look at all of them. They're all over here. All over in this corner, so I'm kind of keeping my bait away from this corner so I don't hook the bass that is protecting them. Because I'm sure there is a bass sitting here somewhere in front of me. I just can't really see him because this water is a little bit more dingy since that thing there is running. Once that thing turns off, though, the water will clear up quite a bit. But I think that this thing is set to run all through the daytime and then turn off at night. I think that's the way my dad has it set up, but I might be wrong. It might turn off here in a little bit. But yeah, there we go. Bass on the shaky head and bluegill on the drop shot. Nice. I was kind of confused. That dude had enough fight in him that I kind of thought he was a bass there for a second. So, that's pretty cool. I had a pretty decent fight to him as well. He pulled a little bit of drag halfway through the fight. Drop shot strikes with a little bluegill. Well, I guess not really little, about medium size for this pond. About the normal size for this pond from what we put in here. And only 6 minutes and actually about 7 minutes in. Cool. Yeah, when I was sitting there and I could feel that bass hitting the first fish I caught. I could feel it sitting there hitting, but I didn't know if I turned the camera on fast enough or not because I wanted to turn it on before he let go of the worm. But where I had him hooked at, he was not letting go of that worm. He had it quite a ways down. And actually, tell you guys a little bit of a story here real quick. Yesterday, I was out here, and here lately I've been showing my little brother, there's all them bass fry. I've been showing my little brother like videos from Bama Bass, of big bass coming up and blowing up on topwater baits, trying to get him a little bit more into bass fishing, you know, because he's more into video games like Call of Duty and all that kind of stuff, which I am too, but I want to get him a little bit more into bass fishing this year. And I figure that, you know, getting him on topwater bites like I was when I first started will get him a little bit more into bass fishing. So I've been showing him videos and stuff, and I was telling him that yesterday, after I done my other video, I was actually sitting over here at the shallower end fishing a small bait for bluegill, trying to catch a big bluegill, and I actually seen a small frog jump into the water, and around where that frog jumped in the water, it was just a huge explosion. So I'm thinking that that 2-pound, 7-ounce bass that's in here may have ate a nice little froggy dinner yesterday. It was pretty cool. I cast it over there a few times, see if he'd bite my little swim bait, but he did not bite my little swim bait. I think he got full pretty quick using or eating that worm, or frog, I mean. Look at all them little bitty fry. Man, there's thousands of them. Sure you guys can probably see those little ripples. Got like a little fuzzy thing on my line. I think I'm going to make this cast right here. And once I retrieve it back, I'm going to go back to the shaky head. I might end up moving on down that side just to see if I can pick up maybe another bluegill, or maybe, who knows, I might end up picking another bass up. There's a bunch of them little fry. They're getting bigger. I've noticed they are getting a little bit bigger, so that's pretty cool. I'm actually like getting to see them grow up, so that's pretty cool. So let's go on ahead and move on down. And we'll get back down to the other end so you guys can see or hear a little bit better, not see a little bit better, hear a little bit better what I'm saying, because I'm sure the audio is not, you know, 100 best quality. Alrighty, we're about midway. Right through here is a little ledge, so I think a little shaky head might get a few bites right here. I had a bluegill bite this worm earlier when I was making the first little video that ended up not working out. But I had a bluegill bite it a few times. I kind of think he was on a bed maybe, because every time I'd cast in that same spot, the worm would just kind of get tapped, but they wouldn't like really eat it. So I don't know, it was back over here in this shallow. I couldn't really see the bed if it was, so that kind of makes me think that it might have been just a random fish. One thing that I'm having a little bit of struggle with, or that is kind of giving me a little bit less confidence in fishing this red or watermelon red flake worm, is how muddy the water is. There's only about maybe 2-3 inches of visibility. So I'm thinking that if I go to a black and blue type worm, maybe a June bug. June bug is one of my favorite muddier watercolors, just because I like the color in general. Like, honestly, it's a really nice color. I like what it looks like in the water with the green flake and sometimes even with blue flake. I've even had some worms that had blue, green, and silver flake, and it looked like an awesome worm. And I actually think I've used those worms up. I don't think I have any more of them, but obviously they caught fish. I think I'm getting a bite because my line was just swimming away, but it's not there now, so maybe not. Cast it out to the end of that brush. I will cast a little bit further out then. It's not where I wanted to cast, but it's where the bait landed, so. Oop. Oh, that was a bluegill. Yep, that was a bluegill. He was thumping her hard. I casted too shallow, or casted it too close. He ain't gonna bite. And I stand corrected because he was just there again. He's right by that stick. Need to let him eat it a little bit more. Make that cast a little bit past the stick, because I'm pretty sure that bluegill, maybe it might be a small bass, but I think it's a bluegill. Nope, he's got it. Ah! Okay, so, possibility, I need to expose the hook. So, I will expose the hook and cast it in there one more time. I might, after this, if it doesn't, or if it bites this time and I don't hook him, I'm going to go to the drop shot, because maybe that exposed hook is the deal. Ooh. He thumped it and started swimming off with it. So let's grab the drop shot. And of course the drop shot has somehow gotten tangled up around itself. That's something with a drop shot that you'll learn after you fish with it for a little while, is you'll find miraculous tangles that You have no clue how it actually happened, but somehow it did. Even when you let the drop shot sit still and don't move it, it'll still get tangled up. Thinking this exposed hook might be the deal. If it's going to bite again. I do not have a fish. I have the bottom. And it came off. Awesome. I'm glad that it did. I wonder if I try it maybe wacky rigged. I've never really had a whole lot of luck using wacky rigs on a drop shot though. So maybe with a bluegill though it might work a little bit better. Cast it right there by that tree. Something else with a drop shot is that bluegill won't be able to swim off with the bait that much. So if he hits it, he's going to be there. He's either going to have the hook or he's not going to have the hook. Cast it right there. Seems like just on this side of that stick there's a little bit of a like some brush or something. And I got a leaf. Alrighty, so I sat here and fished the drop shot for about 5 minutes. I ended up turning off the camera because I was not getting any bites. I just paused the recording, so now I'm back to the shaky head to see if maybe whatever it is that is biting, or that was, ooh, got a bunch of slime on there. That's odd. I just cast it in there with my drop shot and didn't get anything on there. But anyway, I turned off the camera because I just was not getting any bites, so camera's back on now, and I'll get back with you if I get another bite. Okay, so I ended up biting down the worm about to maybe 3 inches long, just see if I could get that bluegill to bite, and I did not end up getting that bluegill to bite. I did find out though that these worms have a very, very high salt content. But no other fish yet. I'm going to keep turning the camera off and then turning it back on and giving you guys updates as they become available, because so far I have yet to catch a fish, or another fish I should say. I've caught 2, 1 bass and 1 big bluegill, but I've had a few very minor bites since I turned the camera off. And I was about to turn the camera right back on when they would let go of the worm. See, I try to set the hook as I turn the camera on so I can make sure I have the fish. And every time I would almost set the hook, they would just let go of the worm. Ooh, getting bite there. I just had a thump. Probably a small bluegill. Alright. Alrighty, well you guys, I'm going to end up having to stop the video here. I have not been able to get another fish. I'm going to continue the challenge off camera, and if I catch a fish, I will attempt to video it. If I don't, then I'll just show you guys the fish. So, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Bye.